Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Welcome. So today, we're actually doing something a little bit different. Instead of, analyzing complex data sets or breaking down historical events, we're going to look inward. We're looking at the architecture of our emotional daily life. We're really going to slow things down today, take a much more deliberate pace, and unpack this beautifully simple yet incredibly powerful concept, the architecture of a mindful moment. So go ahead, settle in, get comfortable, and let's explore this together.
Life moves fast. It's a universal truth, isn't it? Just think about your own routines right now. From the absolute second that alarm goes off in the morning, there's this immediate, relentless cascade of demands. You've got emails, notifications pinging, errands to run, and that mental checklist that literally never seems to end. We basically exist in this state of constant accelerating motion. And emotionally? Well, that speed translates directly into tension. You know the feeling. It builds up in your shoulders, it sits heavy in your chest, it completely clouds your thinking. Just sit with the reality of that daily friction for a second. It is overwhelmingly fast.
But here's what's so fascinating. The absolute best antidote to all that overwhelming speed is actually surprisingly simple. Peace begins with a single pause. It's such a striking contrast, right? Out there, in the world, there's chaos, unpredictability, the relentless ticking of the clock. But internally, we're reminded of the one single thing we actually have absolute control over: the pause. You don't need a 2-week tropical vacation or a silent retreat on a mountaintop to find it. Peace doesn't start with some grand, expensive gesture. It begins with this incredibly simple, singular choice to just stop. Taking a small moment just for yourself. And I really, really want to emphasize that last word there, yourself. If you think about the complex landscape of our daily emotions, how much time is genuinely, unapologetically yours? Because we are constantly giving our energy away, aren't we? To our jobs, our families, our friends, our screens. Reclaiming just a tiny fraction of that time away from all those external demands, that is a radical act of self-care. It's about drawing a firm boundary around a few seconds and just saying, hey, this space is for me. Not to produce, not to respond, not to solve a problem, just to exist. Imagine what it actually feels like to hold that space.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, this concept translates into a really concrete 3-step grounding technique. It's not just some abstract idea floating out there. There's a real, actionable structure to it. Step 1. Simply breathe deeply. This physically resets your nervous system. Just a slow inhale and a controlled exhale. Step 2. Close your eyes. When you're overwhelmed, deliberately cutting off that constant visual stimulation gives your brain a much-needed chance to recalibrate. And Step 3. Let go of the noise. Notice the hum of the room, the traffic outside, maybe even the anxious chatter in your own mind, and consciously let it drift right into the background. Think about how your body naturally responds when you simply follow those 3 little mechanics.
This really highlights the totally unrealistic pressure we constantly put on ourselves. So often, we kind of trick ourselves into believing that we need a flawless, highly optimized, hour-long morning routine just to feel centered. We think if we don't meditate for exactly 30 minutes, write a novel in a gratitude journal, and drink a perfectly blended green juice at exactly 5 a.m., well, the whole day is just ruined. But that heavy burden of perfection, it actually creates way more stress. This approach strips all of that pressure completely away. You really don't need a perfect morning. You just need the gentle, immediate accessibility of a single mindful moment. And the best part? It's available to you right now. Messy kitchen, unread emails, the whole shebang.
Now, when you take that little micro break, the effects aren't just temporary or fleeting. There is a compounding, deeply transformative power hidden within those few quiet seconds. It can actively change your mindset, improve your focus, and actually bring balance to your day. Just think about how mental noise clouds your judgment and spikes your daily anxiety. By intentionally stepping away, even for a brief moment, you are literally hitting the psychological reset button. You interrupt that physical cycle of stress, which actively reduces the mental static and restores your emotional equilibrium. So you end up returning to your tasks not just feeling a bit more relaxed, but sharper, clearer, and far more balanced.
60 seconds. That is literally all it takes. To put that into perspective, in the grand, sweeping scheme of a 24-hour day, 60 seconds of calm is a fraction of a fraction. Yet the emotional return on this tiny micro-investment is massive. We so often tell ourselves this story that we simply don't have the time to relax. But everyone, absolutely everyone, has 60 seconds. It's the ultimate low-barrier, high-impact tool for managing the everyday friction of our emotional daily life.
Because when you finally take that time to connect with yourself, you can actually watch your energy transform. And really, this is the absolute core of what we're exploring today. When we let go of all that noise, when we actually take those 60 seconds to just breathe and disconnect, a really profound internal shift happens. We transition from this frantic state of constantly reacting to the world to a calm state of simply being in it. And this isn't just about feeling a tiny bit less stressed for a minute. No, it is the ultimate catalyst for an emotional transformation. It quite literally changes the frequency of your energy. You move from frazzled to grounded, from scattered to aligned. It's a real game changer.
So, which brings us to the final and frankly the most important question of this whole explainer. Will you give yourself 60 seconds of calm today? We've looked at the architecture of it, the specific steps to take, and the incredible return you get on such a tiny investment of time. The power is now entirely in your hands. So, as we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a lingering sense of peace and a really gentle call to action. Sometime today, when the noise gets just a little too loud, take those 60 seconds. Your mind and your emotional daily life will absolutely thank you for it.